an easy way to remember those, I promise you, if you write that stuff down, you'll remember it. And I know as you got a lot of stuff going on throughout the day, you're not going to have time to write the stuff down sometime. But that's why it's so crucial to literally just take 10 minutes and in your journal, just write that stuff down.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So, and that way, okay, so you made 3 or 4 trades in one day. Write down what happened, when you got in, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you're looking forward to doing again, what worked, what didn't, and it takes you 10 minutes. So you really got to do something every day to stay on top of everything, okay? And so put it in your journal. Hey, this Tesla trade, so to refresh, we got in right here at 345. And do you remember how we got in? We were doing the analysis based off the market charts, off the market action. We were looking that it was dropping in pre-market, then it was going higher. So our calculation was, okay, if it's going to start going higher in the morning, we're buying it at market. And our strategy was, if it goes higher on lower volume, we believe it's going to make the ultimate drop. And that's exactly what it did, and it finished the day at 320 and was trading as low as 313 that day. We held the position for an extra day because we believed the stock had a chance. I've actually opened that day a big position at the 300 level, okay? And so we stuck to it till it fell to about 295, and we started closing out some positions at 305, and so we got out right around this time, okay? So this was, yeah, so this is a refresh on what happened, okay? Now, the question is, I want to ask you, okay, so this was great timing, not perfect execution as far as closing out at the bottom of the trading range, but you know, we were calculating that it actually had a potential chance to make a move even lower to maybe 290, 280 level. But given the information and what you're seeing right now, where do you think this stock is headed on Tuesday when the market opens? Give me some reasons why, and what do you think is actually going to be taking place next week? Looking at this.
Looks like it's crossing its 50-day moving average with the 200-day moving average. So it looks like it's going to go further up.
Okay,
and,
so
his accumulation distribution is also up, which means people are accumulating, you know. And then I forgot about MACD. What was that? But the RSI, you know, is also heading towards the positive side. So my feeling is that with this crossing 200, I think it's going to go up.
okay, what is one of the key factors to look at when you're trying to make that estimate, whether the stock is ultimately going to move higher or maybe it has a chance of trending sideways, you know, or maybe it has a chance of maybe pulling back a little bit? What is the ultimate crucial factor in determining where it could go in the next few days?
I think it's the volume.
The volume. So what do you see in the volume?
Not a high volume.
So it dropped on a significantly higher volume. It is going up. And you're absolutely right about noticing it just crossed the 50-day moving average. It briefly crossed the 200-day moving average. And so the overall trend looks like it's up over the last 10 days. And you made a good point about the accumulation distribution. It appears that they accumulate in the stock. However, all of this is happening on a lower volume. Now, so the ultimate factor for us to look at for, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is, all right, well, you know, it looks like it made a major move down, and that had to do with the earnings and with the overall fall of the market. It appears that it's moving higher, but on a lower volume. So we may not want to be making a call on this to whether it's going to continue moving higher, because there is a good chance, right, if the markets are complacent the following week, that it may just go sideways. It may be trading in this range. You see this range, between the blue line and the orange line, between the 50-day and the 200. It may just be stuck here for a little bit. It needs for us to ultimately say that it is making a move higher. We need to see the volume maybe go higher. And this was decent volume, but it's not nowhere in comparison as big as the volume on the way down. So, you know, However, everything else looks positive. But we also have seen where, it tried to, like, look at this, at the historic situation where it broke out of the 50-day moving average a couple of times. And look, the first day it did it, it tried to do it again, and then it was just kind of fluctuating there. So it has a history of doing this as well, not breaking out, but just kind of trading in a range. And so if the market is not falling next week and the market is not going lower, then do you personally even want to take this trade?
No.
And I'm sorry, I kind of led you to this. I don't think you had a choice. I don't think I left you much choice in answering that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But,
Okay.
I'm like, well, it's going to sideways. But, I think that, looking at this, everything looks good, but looking at this, okay, there is a chance it could repeat something like it was doing here. So I don't think it would be worth putting the money into it, right? One of the things that I also noticed is, look, it shot up to like 344 or almost 345 here, and right after that it retracted all the way to 335, and so it was as high as $11 higher for the day, and look where it ended up. It only ended up closing $1.42 higher. Okay, it still ended up closing positive, but at one point the stock was 3% high, not 3%, or what? Yeah, it was $11 high, ended up $1. So it just, when you see something like this, in other words, once it hits these levels, it looks like they start selling it. And of course, the whole market was selling towards the end of the day, so partially it could be this, but could it be the fact that at this level somebody's trying to take profits? Because remember, this level is very close to this level where after the earnings announcements they started selling it. So at this point I would be more leaning personally towards saying that, hey, if the market is not doing nothing, in other words, it's not making a few hundred-point move higher next week and it's not making a few hundred-point move lower next week, then this stock is probably just going to be trending sideways, because I don't see any other news that are coming out that could affect or make the stock create a move to the extent of $10, $20, right? So we maybe just kind of sitting there. Now, if the market is dropping, I think this is more of an opportunity to, short it, and maybe watch it drop back to 330, 325, maybe even 320 level. Okay, so if you want to just write that down, in other words, when the market's open Tuesday, we really want to watch this. And the number one thing we want to look at is the volume. Okay, so if the volume is just it's not going higher on higher volume, then it's probably temporarily is just going to be topped out right there in that range. And it has a higher probability of going a little bit lower rather than breaking to a new high. And honestly, if it does make a move higher to this 350, 355, but on lower volume, what would be your action, Shaq?
If it's lower volume, it means that, and it's gone up, I would be shorting it now.
Okay, good, because look, there's multiple levels, right? Let's say it gets to this 355, 360. It tried it before once. It tried it before twice. If we draw a line right here and look at this, look, it also did it here, and after that it fell. It kind of sort of did it close in the range within a few dollars. 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and it fell. It didn't go quite that high here, but it did it again here and here. So ultimately, if it's moving towards this range, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're noticing it, that it's doing it on a lower volume, then we definitely want to short it, because it's proven time after time. Look here, 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 that it's really hesitant to move above that level. In other words, it would really require some strong volume for it to break through this 355, 360 level. So let's keep a close eye on this, because at this point, if it does get there in low volume, I think that would be a pretty good position to take. Yeah.
Volume means what? Means more people are buying?
No, just overall, what is every stock has its average daily volume. Okay, and so I think in the case of Tesla, it's a few million shares, right? So maybe 4 million shares roughly. So when it does trade like 10, 12 million shares, then it's 2, 3 times its average daily volume. So what we care about, not the daily average volume itself, but rather than the percentage increase. If the volume is going higher by 200-300% from where it's trading typically, that's a key indicator. Now, if it's going higher but it's average volume, then it's just an average trading day. Yeah, it's trending higher, but we want to see for the stock to ultimately hit its new highs, we want to see an increase in relation to its daily volume.